Hey everyone, it's Rickita, and I'm so excited that I am launching a new series. So, this series, we're going to go over Credit 101. And the biggest focus of this is I want to go over credit repair. So, we're going to talk about credit reports and scoring. That's one thing we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about building your credit, also repairing your credit. I want you guys to know how to do this yourself. We want to talk about debt and repayment, and also choosing the right credit cards, and also how to get approved for these credit cards. So if you guys ever have any questions, please go ahead and drop these questions down below. I'll be happy to help you all. And then don't forget to check out my website, rickita.com, because so much information will be on there. And if you guys have my membership, a lot of free things will be available on the membership, such as like free downloads that can help you throughout this series. This is episode 2 of Credit 101. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how creditors really assess your credit worthiness. Now, there's just a few things that they really look at. And the first thing is they want to know how much debt you can handle. So if you guys are looking to get a mortgage, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. Sometimes, they may look at your job, how long you've been at your job, or they want to see what type of profession you have. That's why you'll see a lot of times they have your employer on your credit report. And then also, too, I know this is kind of like taboo, but I have believed for a while that they care about where you live also. And they can know where you live by looking at your zip code. Now, I cannot say this is totally true, but I definitely believe this. I just feel like people that have a certain zip code get approved for better credit cards. But, just take that and think of it as you want to think about it. I don't know. Take it how you can or whatever you want to think about that. Now, another thing, they want to look at your credit, your current debts, and also your credit limits. So they want to see if you have any maxed out credit cards. If you have maxed out credit cards, they are not going to want to give you more credit. So they want to look at those different things. They want to know too, do you have any new recent opening accounts? And then also how many accounts you have. Chase have the 524 rule. You have to think about things like that. Certain companies will not give you a credit card if you have too many accounts open within a certain amount of time. So definitely keep that in mind. Sometimes you may get denied for just having too many accounts also. So that's something that they really want to know about. They also want to know about your assets. And a great way for companies to know what assets you have is by seeing a mortgage on your credit report. So they're going to see that mortgage on your credit report. They'll see how much you owe on it, and they could easily have some type of calculation in the background to see how much it's actually worth. Also, if you guys have a car, it's the same thing. They want to see how much your car is worth. They can look right on your credit report to see how much you owe on it. You can also tell them what assets you have. But when you guys are applying for credit cards, you may see something too where it asks you how long have you had your house or where you stayed at, and also if you rent or own. So that's where they're going to be looking at your financial stability also. So they're going to ask, hey, do you own a home? Do you own a rent? You're going to see that a lot on your credit card application. And they want to know how long you have been at that address too. So sometimes you'll see on the credit bureau's website, they'll say when that address was added, and they can calculate how long you've been at that address. Also, they want to know if you have a checking and a savings account or either or, because a lot of times if you guys don't have these accounts, then they can know like you must not be financially stable. So these are 4 things. They want to know how much debt you can handle. They want to know your current debts and your credit limits. They want to know your total assets. And then also they want to know your financial stability. Welcome to episode 3 of Credit 101. If you've missed any episodes, please go ahead and check those out. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about the difference between a credit report and a credit score. Now, first, I need you to know what a credit score is. So a credit score is a score that is generated by looking at your credit reports. So a lot of companies, they come up with your credit score by looking at your credit report, and then they'll generate a credit score for you. Now, what is a credit score used for? A credit score is used by creditors to determine whether or not you want to pay. That's all they want to know. Are you going to pay them if they give you whatever money it is, or if they loan you anything? They want to know whether or not you'll pay. So that means that, high scores, if you guys have a high score, then a high score means that you're likely to pay, and a low score means that you're less likely to pay. And when you guys look at scores, we have so many different scoring models out there, but normally you guys will see a scoring model between 350 all the way up to 850. So that's usually the scoring model, and you'll see like different scores. Sometimes it go from 300 to 900. There's different credit scores out there. So we have to know about these different things. So also, what's the difference How many different credit scores are out there? There's over 50 credit scores, you guys. More than that now. That I used to say 50, but it's so many out there because a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll get your credit report and they'll generate their own score. So a lot of times you'll try to go get a mortgage. You'll say, well, this is not what's on Credit Card Mortgage. This is not what's on Identity IQ. And you're trying to figure out, where to get this score from. They got your credit reports and they use their own internal algorithm to determine what your credit score is. So keep that in mind, you all. Also, what matters most with credit reports? The thing to me that matters most is what's actually on your credit reports. So a lot of people are so focused on your credit scores. I always tell people just focus what's actually on your credit reports, because if you guys have the right information on your credit reports, then you must have a high credit score. So welcome to episode 4. In this episode, we will talk about your credit reports and also what are their uses. So the first thing is I want you guys to know, where do your credit reports come from? So your credit reports come from the 3 main credit bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Now the credit reporting agencies is something you can also call them, and I usually call them 2 CRAs, credit reporting agencies. They usually include things like your credit worthiness, your credit standing at the time, also your credit capacity. These are things that they're going to learn by getting your credit reports. Also, they're going to look at that and determine too, like, what do they think your character is like, and also too, just your financial information in general. Now, where does the credit reporting agencies get their information from? The credit reporting agencies, honestly, they get the information from the creditors. So when you guys apply for a credit card, and when they actually report to the credit bureaus, all that information comes from them. They get it from collection agencies too. When collection agencies put things on your credit report, they get that information from them. Now, we also need to know who actually buys your credit reports. So banks buy your credit reports. If you guys apply for a mortgage, they're actually buying your credit reports also. If you guys are trying to get a loan from a credit union, they are actually getting your information also. So you may see that the credit unions, they buy your credit reports. Also, credit card companies, when you guys apply for a credit card, when they want to pull your credit, they're actually buying your credit report. So they're actually buying your information. Also, car dealers, insurance companies, they also want to look at your credit a lot of times. If you guys have a landlord, they want to look at your credit, they may buy it. And even some of these employers, I had someone that wanted to have a certain job and they have to have a certain credit score. They couldn't have certain things on their credit to get approved. So you may see that employers are paying for these credit reports. Now, you guys have to understand that sometimes government agencies may get your credit reports. Now, they may get your credit reports if they're granting you a license, or if they're trying to extend you some type of credit, or if they're investigating some international terrorism. It's different, but they may get it for that. And they usually get all 3 credit bureaus, the main ones: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Now, the reason why I said main ones, because there's so many different credit agencies, credit bureaus out there, you guys. So we have the main ones, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, but we have other ones too. And we're going to get into those in the next episode. Now, those ones, you guys, they may look at different things to determine like your insurance. Maybe they want to look at your background check, medical. They get so much stuff about our medical, and also like your rental history. So we're going to get into that in episode 5. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them for you. I'll see you guys in episode 5. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 5 of Credit 101. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how you can get your credit reports. There's so many ways you guys can get your credit reports and also determine what is your credit score. Now, I know I told you guys we're going to talk about those third-party bureaus in this episode, but we're actually going to wait to episode 6 to talk about that. So let's get right on into how you can actually get your credit reports. So to get your credit report, you guys, it's actually very simple for you to get it. Now, the first thing I want you guys to check out, the first company, is Identity IQ. I usually tell people to check them out because they have a $1 7-day trial, and you'll actually know your credit scores. And a lot of times you guys can go right to their website and check it out. And let's actually take a look at their website. So when you guys go and check out Identity IQ, you guys will see their website like this. This is what their website will look like. So you can come here to their website and you can get a copy of your credit reports and your scores. So they have 3 different options. Now, I actually have a special discount code that you all can be able to check out. And then this is what it'll look like when you guys actually use my link. My link should be down below in the description also. So you'll see that you'll have that $1 trial to check it out. And it will actually only be $21.99 if you decide you want to stay. But that is what Identity IQ will look like. And this is actually the plan here. So you get all 3 of your credit reports and scores. You'll have $1 million in reimbursement of stolen funds. Say if you guys were to have some type of fraudulent thing happen, and they'll let you know if anything is happening with your credit. They'll send you alerts. And the main thing is you want to know what's on your credit reports and know what your credit scores are. So that's one company that you guys can check out. Now, another company that you can check out is Aura. So Aura will actually give you a copy of your credit report. They'll let you look at your credit reports. Also, you can see what your credit score is. But this company right here, this one, they have a 14-day trial. And I want to tell you guys about these companies that have like discounted things because it's really good. It's really good for you guys to be able to get your credit reports without having to pay and even look at your credit scores. So I like this company, give you a 14-day free trial. And this company right here is big on protecting your credit, letting you know if you have anything that's going on. So it's really good for fraud protection. So definitely check this company out. I have this link down below for you guys also. Now you also can go to the main credit bureau. So the next credit bureau you guys can think about is Experian. So Experian, they will give you a copy of your credit report. So you guys can go directly to the website and check them out. And here is the Experian website. Remember, you have TransUnion, Equifax, and you have Experian. So you guys will be able to get your credit report for them, and you can sign up for free. And also, they'll be able to give you updates only on your Experian credit report every day for free, okay? Only for your Experian. You can also place freezes, do disputes right through it, and say any type of fraud alerts. So definitely check them out. The next one is Equifax. So you guys can definitely check out Equifax. You can get a copy of your credit reports from Equifax. You can also freeze and unfreeze your credit reports right through their website. So you can see right here, they have a sign up now. So definitely check out Equifax. Again, you can do disputes through their website. And also they have access where you can actually buy a copy of your credit reports. So if that's something you want to do, you can go right through Equifax and buy copies of your credit reports right through Equifax. Now, the next one is TransUnion. So we want to check out TransUnion. So with TransUnion, you can freeze and lock TransUnion credit reports. Also, they have an option where you can buy credit reports right through them. They have that $1 million fraud protection, that theft insurance. So you guys can check that out also. You're going to see that with a lot of companies that they have that, but this is the TransUnion website. Now, I also tell people to go to Credit Karma. So I love Credit Karma because you can go to Credit Karma and get a copy of your credit reports. You can look at them. When you're looking at your credit scores, understand your credit scores are going to be different on all these different websites. I cannot explain this enough. Your credit scores are going to be different. Your Credit Karma credit scores may be higher than when you try to go get a mortgage, but they'll give you your TransUnion credit score and also your Equifax credit score. So definitely check them out. And last but not least is annualcreditreport.com. Now, I tell people this one last because when you guys are disputing your credit, say if you have bad things on your credit, you need to fix that. If you guys were to get your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, you're giving them additional days to process your disputes. And usually if they don't respond to your disputes in about 30 days, then they have to delete those accounts. But if you come on here and get your credit reports, then you're giving them additional days to respond, which means they got more time to fix whatever the problem is. And we don't want to give them more time. But during COVID, they can say that they're saying that we're able to get our credit reports every week, and they're actually finished. They're continuing to do this. So you can request a free copy of your credit reports every week. Now, if you guys are planning to set up a lawsuit, you should get your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com. But you guys, I do suggest start off with one of the other companies, like start off with Identity IQ, see what your credit scores is. They got a $1 trial. Just try it out. See, you can cancel at any time. And then after you send out your disputes based off of what's on here, then you can go and send out more disputes based off of what you get from your annualcreditreport.com. But when you guys use annualcreditreport.com, they'll give you your credit reports right away. But when you guys do disputes, you should also get a copy of your credit reports right away. But I hope this information was very helpful and useful to you guys. Welcome to Credit 101, episode 6. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to get your credit reports for free from those third-party specialty bureaus. So these bureaus, they have different information for you. We're going to talk about how you can get a free copy of it. And if you guys have my exclusive credit membership, You guys will see that down below. If you guys have that, I actually have a free printout where you guys can be able to download it and get like the fax numbers and also their direct website. They may have forms. I have all of that available in the exclusive credit membership. So definitely guys check that out. Now, it's so many different bureaus out there, you guys. So we're going to talk about how you can get those credit reports. Now, the first company I want to talk to you guys about is LexisNexis. So if you guys have a bankruptcy, you guys need to know LexisNexis. LexisNexis is housing so much information about us, you guys, from driving records to bankruptcies to even some insurance information. So let's look at LexisNexis. So to get a copy of your credit reports from LexisNexis, you can just go right to their website. So you can see right here, go to their website and request a consumer disclosure report. So you guys will be able to get a copy of your credit reports. Also, you guys can place a security freeze. Now, some people think when they have a bankruptcy, all they have to do is place a security freeze, but that's not true, you guys, because they're still authorized to give your credit reports to the credit bureaus, which is who we don't want to have access to this report. So I always tell people to dispute that information. We're going to definitely get into that. And I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get there, but we're going to definitely get into that. Now, also, we have the Experian Rent. So Experian actually have their own Experian Rent Bureau, where they actually have information about your rental history. So property management companies and third-party rental reporters actually send your rental payment data directly to them, and that's how they're going to be able to know about your rental history. So some people are trying to apply for a house, they're trying to rent the house and they're having a hard time getting approved. You probably need to find out what information is on your rental bureau report, because that information can definitely help you figure out exactly what's going on, because this can be stopping you from actually getting that house that you want to get, you want to rent. So definitely check this out. We also have a company called MIB, which is the Medical Information Bureau. Now this one, they have information about medical history. So this is what they're for. And they talk about your health insurance protection and also your life. So your life insurance. So definitely you can request a copy of your report that you have directly with them. So definitely check out that credit bureau. Now, next thing is I want you guys to check out the telecheck. So they want to talk about your check writing history. So you guys can actually do a dispute right on a website. Also, you can talk about, you'll see like any forgery or identity theft, you can file it right through here. And then you can find out more about how they work here. Another one I want you to know about is the check systems. Now, check system is very, very important for those people that's trying to get a bank account. If for some reason you're trying to get a bank account and you're not able to get a bank account, maybe you have some information on your check systems report. When I was in high school and I worked at the bank, check systems was big. Before we gave people a checking account, we looked at people's check systems. So go ahead and request a copy of your report. You can request it right here. I also do tell people to put that security freeze on there. If you have any identity theft, go ahead and you can report your identity theft and you can do a dispute right through their website. But you do want to make sure that you do it. Now, the next company, but the last company I want to talk about, is so many other companies out there. With this one right here, a lot of companies get this bureau. So you want to come here and check it out and see if you can get your report for them. Definitely call them. I know a lot of these websites, a lot of these different things, I know it's like over 35 different companies, and I have that list for you all inside of the membership. They'll allow you to be able to fax them. Like SageStream is one I'm not going to be able to talk about right now, but they'll allow you to be able to get a copy of your credit reports online. You can call them. So definitely check these bureaus out. Now, the main ones I think that you guys definitely need to know about, though, is LexisNexis. Very big check systems, because everybody's trying to get a bank account. And if you're trying to rent, definitely check out Experian and also SageStream. I didn't put SageStream on here, but that's a big company that you guys need to know about, because they house a lot of information for us. So SageStream, you may see when you apply for certain companies, they may want to pull your SageStream report and you're like, what? Yes, they want to pull it. So definitely make sure you guys have those different bureaus cleaned up, because it's very, very important. Now, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about getting additional free copies of your credit reports. You know how I told you, and not Identity IQ, but also annualcreditreports.com, there were certain instances where you're able to get your credit reports, because usually it's once a year. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but technically we still have once a week because of COVID, and they have it where you have additional ways you can get your credit report. Hey, beautiful people, it's Rickita, and we're back with another episode of Credit 101. We're back with episode 7. So I want to teach you guys on how you can get additional copies of your credit reports for free. So I know I told you guys you can get your credit reports for free at annualcreditreports.com. So you guys can go right to annualcreditreports.com. You can get a copy of your credit reports for free. Now, the reason why I'm telling you guys about getting additional ones is because right now we're technically getting extra benefits still from COVID, where you can get a copy of your credit reports for free weekly, but that's not always what it was. Like usually it was you only can get it once a year. So I'm going to go over different ways on how you can get additional copies, just in case they decide to change this and we go back to our old things. I want you guys to know how you can actually get additional copies of your free credit reports. So the first thing is if you guys had a denial. So if you guys had a denial of any type of credit, you guys are allowed to get a free copy of your credit reports, because you need to see exactly what is on that credit report that stopped them from actually approving you. Also, if you guys had some unfavorable action taken against you, so say if an insurance company decided to increase some things based off your credit, maybe a government benefit you was denied for or denied for a license, then you guys can get a free copy of credit reports because of that. Also, if you guys was granted less than you requested, or if you got different terms than you expected to, then you guys can request a free copy of your credit reports. Because usually if you guys got less than you requested, then that's probably because it's something that's on your credit reports that could be stopping you, such as like debt to income ratio. You got different debts that you did not know about. Also, your credit accounts. If you had credit accounts terminated, you guys are allowed to get a free copy of your credit reports, because you need to see exactly what went wrong that made them terminate you for these different credit accounts that you have. Also, if a creditor made changes, maybe they made some different changes, or maybe they lowered your limits or things like that, this can allow you to get a copy of your credit reports. Also, if any determinations was made against you, against your interest too. So there's a lot of different things that can happen, that maybe they raise your interest rate or something like that. Maybe, like I said, you couldn't get approved for something, you couldn't get a higher limit, then this would allow you to be able to get a copy of your credit reports. If you guys are unemployed, then you're allowed to get a free copy of your credit reports if you're planning on applying for a job in the next 60 days. So that's a way you can get a free copy of your credit reports. And last but not least, if you guys are a victim of identity theft, then you guys are allowed to get a copy of all 3 credit reports for free. Now, when I say get a free copy of your credit reports, I don't mean go to Identity IQ or all those other places I talked to you guys about. You guys are getting a free copy of them from annualcreditreports.com. And I keep saying annual credit reports. As the bad habit I have is annualcreditreport.com. And make sure you guys see this when you come, because this is the actual website, and you can request a free copy of your credit reports. You can actually target, say, hey, you only want TransUnion, or hey, I only want Experian and TransUnion, or you want 3. You can pick which ones you have, because you have to pull them all separately. And if for some reason you can't get a copy of your credit reports right here, they may tell you that you can mail in a request online. Go ahead and mail in a request online to get a copy of your credit reports. But right now, like I said, we're in COVID. We're still benefiting things from COVID, should I say. So you're allowed to get a free copy of your credit reports every week. But please watch out for this too, you guys, because you guys are doing disputes. Again, you're giving them additional days to process your disputes. And I usually like to tell clients, I love when they don't respond in 30 days, because it means that they have to remove those accounts from your credit reports. But if you guys get a free copy of your credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, then you're allowing them additional time, which is usually 15 days. So definitely check it out. Each state is different on how much time they'll get. But hopefully this episode was beneficial to you. I'll see you guys in episode 8. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 8 of Credit 101, where we will be talking about the things that's inside your credit reports. So when you guys get your credit reports, you have to understand that there's a lot of information that's in your credit reports, and we need to really know what accounts are listed, why are there so many accounts, and then how long these accounts are going to stay on your credit reports. So let's get right on into it. If you guys have questions, drop them down below in the comments. Now, the first thing is you guys are going to have personal information on your credit reports. Now, when I say personal information, I mean like your name, your address, those different things that's listed on your credit reports. Now, I have an example here that I always use to show clients. And I usually show this example because I need people to remove old personal information from their credit reports so that they can get some accounts deleted if they have to do that. So if you can see right here, the first thing is they'll show your credit report date. And remember, you have 3 main credit bureaus, which we're looking at this from Identity IQ. This is what it looked like on Identity IQ. Each company you get your credit reports from, the layout is going to be different. This is what it looked like on Identity IQ. So they're going to tell you the date that you got that credit report. Then they'll have your name listed there. They'll also have like the also known as. You'll see some information may be there. So maybe if you was married before, or if you use a different name, or if they even have a different name on there, they'll have it on there. And you can also see that in former name also. And then your date of birth will be listed there. Now, sometimes some bureau will only have your year, but since this is someone's information, I cannot show you exactly what it looked like, but sometimes they'll just have your year. You can see for Experian, I only covered up a small amount. They only had the year, but the other 2 bureaus had the full date of birth, and also the addresses, your current address. They'll have the current address that you're staying at right now as what's reported. They may not have your current address, but it's what's reported. When you apply for a credit card, we'll talk about inquiries. That's when an address will be added to your credit report. But whatever current address they think you're staying at, they have that there. Previous addresses, they keep every address on your credit report. They don't plan to delete these addresses, you guys. It's us that go in there and work to remove those different addresses. But the previous addresses are addresses that you once had as your current address, but once you get a new address that's your current, those previous address, the address that was once current is going to turn into your previous address. So you see those previous addresses there. They're also going to have your employers and also your current employer and your previous employer. So they'll have that information there. If you guys have any type of consumer comments, you guys will also see that information there. Now, usually consumer comments are when you will say, hey, I was in I had marriage went bad, and that's why you see these bad accounts. You come with an excuse basically on why your accounts are negative. They can read that when they get your credit report. So that's what the consumer comment is. Hey, I once had fraud. You'll see that as one of the things that's on there for the consumer comments. But personal information, that is something that is going to be on your credit reports, and you guys need to know what personal information is out there for you, because sometimes you'll see other people named and things like that, and you can see that your file has been merged with someone else's, which we are going to talk about later. Or sometimes you'll see identity theft. You need to have this information to make sure it's correct so that identity theft is not happening to you, which we are going to go over later also. Now, your accounts are reported monthly. Usually they have a set date that they report to the credit bureaus for you. I have a set sample credit report here. So let's actually look at that credit report. I just want to show you like the date that is really being reported. So if I zoom in some, this is an actual account. Say they right here, it says the date that it was last reported. Okay, so usually they're going to report on the same day. This one is bad because this company here is not reporting correctly. So, but you'll see the last day that they reported to each bureau. This is Experian. I think this is TransUnion, and this is Equifax. You'll see the date that they reported. Let's look at another example. So that's a bad example. They have different dates that they reported. Oh, this is a good example. The date is they reported on the 1st. So August 1st, 2019. This is a very older report. So you can see on the 1st, they're usually going to be reporting. So they report monthly, and they usually report on the same date every month. So you can count on them to report again September 1st, November, December, like that, October 1st. You can count on them to report on that same exact month, because that's normally what they do, because they report monthly, you guys. Now, accounts will be reported when they are in default. So say if you have a new account that maybe you had a collection, or you have a charge off on your credit report, you had a credit card with Capital One. When it becomes in default, they're going to report that it is in default. You have not been paying on it. And when they sell it to a collection agency, that account will be reported. So that will be a new account on your credit reports. So you will see that account is reported. And then also public records. Public records, they cannot report tax liens or anything like that anymore. It was a law that stopped that. But what they can report is bankruptcy. So you guys will see bankruptcies being reported onto your credit reports. Also, inquiries. When you guys apply for credit cards, when you put completed application, you're going to get a hard inquiry. So you're going to see those inquiries listed on your credit reports. And we're going to go over that full credit report in episode 9. So if you want like a full breakdown of it, then definitely check it out. We're just talking about the different things that's on your credit reports for this episode. Now, accounts to stay on your credit reports for a different amount of time. Now, in your inquiries, they usually stay on your credit report for a year and a half or 2 years. If you guys have collections, charge-offs, those different type of accounts, they're going to stay on your credit reports for 7.5 years. And your bankruptcies are going to stay on there for 10 years. Now, remember, this is the standard on how long it's going to stay on there. You guys always can dispute accounts and get these accounts removed from your credit reports, especially if they're inaccurate. Like I just showed you that account, so many different things they're not reporting correctly. You can get these different accounts removed and you don't have to wait the 7.5 years or the 10 years for a certain account to come off. But that's how long it's usually on your credit reports. Now, some information is not included on your credit reports, like such as things about your race, your religion, any type of medical history. That's not on this credit report. I talked about the third-party bureaus that may have some of this information, but the main 3 credit bureaus, they don't have this information. Also, things about your lifestyle, your political preference, they don't have that on there either. Or anything that's like really personally related, that's personal about you, that's not really related to credit, it's not going to be on there. So understand that. And also, if you guys are married, information like your spouse's account, unless you guys have a joint account, it should not be on your credit reports. It should not. Only things that you apply for, that you agree to be on the account for, say if you guys had a joint car auto loan, then that will be on your credit reports. If your spouse have a credit card and you're not on their credit card, it should not be on your credit report unless you become an authorized user on that credit card. Other than that, it should not be on your credit reports. Okay, so keep that in mind. So only your information should be on your credit reports. If you guys were to see some information that's not on your credit, that's not yours, and it's on your credit reports, please get this information off. I remember I had a client that had a negative. It wasn't negative, it was positive first. They had a credit card that was positive. It wasn't really theirs, but it was reporting to their credit report and it was helping them. And it ended up going bad. And then it was like, oh my gosh, Rickita, now I got to remove it. They was like, you know what? Let's keep it on there when it was positive. But when it went bad, it was like, let's take it off. And that can happen at any time. Accounts could go bad. So definitely make sure you guys don't keep this information on your credit reports. Now, creditors, they have an automated system where they report this information to the credit bureaus, and we're going to talk about that also. They have a system where they're going to report it, and we want to get into like Metro 2 compliance, all of that, because it's a system that's reporting this information. That's why it's getting reported on a monthly basis, and sometimes they have errors within that system, which is why different things are being reported to your credit report that should not be there. Welcome to episode 9 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to go over a credit report in detail and look at the different accounts that's listed on your credit reports, like loans, collections, charge-offs, bankruptcies. We're going to look deep into these different accounts so you can see what they look like and how they should be reported. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Now, in the last episode, we talked about the different accounts. So we went over like your personal information. We went over credit cards. We went over loans. We went over charge-offs, collections, public records, and also we talked about inquiries. I really want to take a deep look into these accounts so you guys can really see what they should look like. And if you guys have any questions, again, drop them down below in the comments. Now, I showed you guys in the last episode what it looks like to have a what it look like to have your personal information on your credit reports, and this is what it should look like. So you'll see your name is listed on your credit reports. Any former names that you have will be listed on your credit reports. Your date of birth will be listed. Your address will be listed also. And you also will see previous addresses. The credit bureaus do not like to remove any of this information from your credit reports. They like to keep it there. You guys will also see your current and your previous employer. Another thing that we can't see right here, but if you guys request a full copy of your credit report, then you guys will see any former names, past addresses, social security numbers. You guys may have different social security numbers listed on your credit reports. I had that before. Also, additional phone numbers. You guys may see additional phone numbers on your credit reports. So definitely you want to be able to know what phone numbers are listed because you may need to remove those. And then two, your employment history, including your salary, could be listed. So these different things could be listed, but you want to make sure that this information is accurate, because if it's not accurate, it can hurt you and stop you from getting the credit that you want. So that's just the personal information that's listed. I have a sample credit report here. So let's actually go ahead and look at the sample credit report that we have here. So this is the credit report. It's just an example, you guys. It's a very old report. Got permission to use this report. None of this information, you can see, it's not really somebody's. A lot of it is blanked out, so you can't even really see it. But I want to show you these different type of accounts. So right here, we can see that this is an auto loan. An auto loan is an installment account. So that's the type of account that you have. So you have installment accounts. You also have revolving accounts, which is credit cards. Okay, and we're going to get into the other type of accounts, but those are like the two main ones you guys need to know, especially when you're building your credit. So this is the auto loan, which is an installment account. You can see they have the account number here, the account type, which is an installment. Account type details. It's not just a installment account, could be a mortgage too, you guys. That's an installment account. Anything that you pay on, you have a set amount of time to pay on it, and you have a set amount you have to pay for a certain period. That's an installment account. So this is an auto loan here. Not a bureau code. This is the individual account. Sometimes you will see joint if somebody is on that account with the person. You may see joint right there, but this is just an individual account. The status is different across all three bureaus. We're going to know exactly what bureau it is as we go down. So it's Experian and Equifax in the middle, and TransUnion is on the right. But you can see each bureau is reporting something different in terms of the account status. One says paid, other one says open, other one says closed. It's like, which one is it? The monthly payment is also listed here. Two bureaus have $0 and one bureau have $283. Now, the biggest problem, you guys, with your credit reports, you're going to see a lot of inaccuracies like this. So if you ever try to remove an account, this can be a reason why the account needs to be removed, because what is the correct monthly payment? I know this will probably make more sense than $0, but then again, it says it's paid. So is it no monthly payment now? And if you guys are getting a mortgage, this is going to be a problem for you also, okay? So you want to make sure that you get things like this updated. Now, the date open, this is the date that they have open, but that you open the account. But again, it's different dates. Also the balance, that's how much you currently owe on that account. So now that we see that the balance is $0, I can see how the monthly payment would be $0. Why is this monthly payment not updated yet? That's a problem. Also, the terms. Remember, installment accounts have terms. That's a number of months that you have to pay on that account, and you're paying that monthly payment. So this one right here, the monthly payment is probably $283 per month, and they was gonna pay it for 49 months. That's probably what the real thing is. So basically, they was paying on it for 4 years plus an additional month. But that's what the terms are. It's 49 here, and you'll see that. The high credit, that's the most you ever owed on the account. Or sometimes with your credit cards, if you ever go over the limit, any amount that you ever went over, the highest amount you ever owed them at one period of time, it don't matter what period that was, that amount is there. Your credit limit. Credit limits are for credit cards. This is not a credit card, so you won't see a credit limit. If the account was past due, then you guys will see a past due balance here. Now, the payment status. The payment status is saying that they're currently late 30 days. And I just don't see how this account is late if they're saying it's paid or it's closed and they don't owe a balance. But again, this is different reasons why these accounts need to be deleted or updated. The last date that it was reported to the Bureau is listed here. The comments, any comments about the account, sometimes you'll see comments like it's in dispute, consumer disputes this information, or you'll see comments like it was sold to this company, especially if it was a charge off, and we'll get into that. But this really don't have comments. It is saying it's auto, and then it's saying it's closed. Last date of activity. Last date of activity is the first day that you became delinquent on your account, or the last day that you actually made a payment on your account. I like to go based off of the last day you made a payment on your account, because that one is most accurate. So that's what your last date of activity is. And sometimes you'll see that they match. You see the last date of payment here. You can see these two match here, because that's the last date activity. This one don't necessarily match, but then again, we know that last date activity right here must be wrong. But then again, it must be wrong too here, because this is one account. It literally should have the same one thing across all three bureaus. We have to understand that. So that's something that's wrong with this account. If it's one account, 3 different bureaus is reporting 3 different things. That's a problem because it looks like you have 3 different accounts and it's not true. And then also your payment history is right here. So you'll see the last 2 years of your payment history listed down here at the bottom. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion is just abbreviated. And then okay means that you're okay. It's paid on time. Everything is good. When you don't see anything like right here for March 2015, let me actually show you that you see March 15, that's 2015. Right here is nothing there. That's incomplete data. That means that they didn't report anything. And also on these spots here, they didn't report anything here also. And also you'll see that they have some 30 days in here. Say 30. That means you was 30 days late. Sometimes you'll see 60, 90, 120, 150 days. That means how many days you were late. But that's how you would read a full account. Now, let me show you the different type of accounts because there are different types. So you have a revolving account here, which is a charge account. This is a credit card. It's an Ashley Stewart Community Bank because the name of the company is here. You'll see the account number here, the account type, and you see all these different red spaces. When you get your credit report from Identity IQ, you won't see this. But if you're learning all this information because you just started using credit and you just trying to get your life back together and you need to start fixing negative accounts that you messed up on in the past, then these red marks means that there's different data, and those are different reasons why the account should be deleted if you need to get deleted. Now, look at the payment status on this account. The payment status says that they're late 180 days, but then it also says a collection or charge off. Charge off means that they gave you 180 days usually to pay on that account. You never paid it. So most likely they're going to sell it to a collection company, and a collection company is going to be a new account on your credit report. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have some here. It's a new account on your credit report. And then this new company is coming after you to get some money. We're going to get into these different accounts. I just want you to know what your credit report should look like right now, and you know what the different accounts will report as. Also, you can see the date open on here. Definitely always check that date. You want to make sure that that date is correct. And then your last date activity. The last date activity to me is the most important thing on any account. Seriously, especially if you want to get it deleted. Especially if it's a collection account. It's a very important date for you all. But this is what a revolving account would look like. Now, it looked like they were on time with this account at first, but then look, they went 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. But you can see how it's not even reporting correctly, because if you can see here, let me make it a lot bigger for you all. So you can see right here, it's February 2019. Okay, Experian, that's the first one. It's saying you 90 days late. Equifax, 120 days late. And TransUnion, they're not saying anything, which is incomplete data. And if there's any incomplete accounts, you need to take it off. You got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth when it comes down to these accounts, or they have to be removed. And that's something with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if you can see right here, look at your payment history if you ever want to get an account deleted. But if you guys are paying on your account, you should just always see okay. And as long as you see okay, you fine. If you ever see some 30 days late in here, you're going to see your credit score drop a lot. And you want to call them right away and tell them to update these different accounts. Okay, because you don't want to see any negative or 30 days, 60 days. You don't want to see that's going to hurt you. So again, they have another credit card here. You can see it's a credit card. It's a revolving account. It's derogatory. They're saying that it's a collection and charge off. You can see it have CO here, which means charged off. And again, when you see account is charged off, most likely they're going to sell it to a collection company. But I just want you guys to see what that account look like. Let's actually try to see if we can find us a collection, because you guys really need to know what a collection look like. So let's actually scroll down and see. All of these are charged off. All of these are charged off accounts. Okay, so here's a collection right here. Midland Credit Management. That's the name of this collection company. Here's the account number that they have on here. The account type is an open account. A collection for account type details. The monthly payment, you should never have a monthly payment on a collection account, you guys. If you ever see a monthly payment, that's the reason why that account should be removed. And you should never want a collection to stay on your credit reports, ever. Always get that collection removed if you can, because that's going to help your credit score go up. So you definitely want to always get that removed right away. Also, the date open on it. When you're looking at a collection account, you want to see your date open. The balance in high credit should be the same, unless you've been paying money on your collection account. Then you'll see that maybe your balance is lower than your high credit. And look at the payment status right here, you guys. They said you it's late. I'm saying you, but they're saying that this client was late 120 days. You cannot be late on collection accounts. And collection accounts not supposed to have any type of payment history also, you guys, okay? And then your last date activity, this is very important. And I know it's a lot of information, but for people that's repairing their credit, trust me, listen to this. It's going to be very, very important. Your last date activity should always be before the account was open, because don't forget, your last date activity is coming from your original account, okay? Your original account, that's the last time you made a payment on your account, okay? So this right here is before this date, but still you want to double check with that original account to see what's that real date, because that can be a reason why she get removed. Now we have another account here, which is a medical bill. It's a collection. So you guys, definitely, I want to show you guys these negative accounts because you need to know these, because a lot of times you're gonna have at least one account go bad. I haven't seen anybody that didn't have one account where they, unless you just started from the beginning right now and you're just going to learn and not make a mistake, usually you're going to know somebody with a collection account too. Now, again, look at this last date of activity. The last date of activity is after the account was open. That's not possible. That means that they're doing something called re-aging the debt. That means they're making it seem as if the account is basically not as old as it really is, which means they can stay on their credit report 7.5 years from this date, your last date activity. That's how long your account usually stay on there. So if they keep making this date later, such as this date right here, it's 5 years. They cut 5 years off of it, so now it seemed like a newer account, which means it's going to stay on there 7.5 years from this date. So please make sure you guys check them dates if you guys have any collections. So they have quite a few collections on the credit reports. As you can see, it's a lot of accounts on here, you guys. You're going to have a lot of accounts on your credit reports as you start building up your credit, but they have collections. Those we don't need. And when you guys have multiple credit cards, as long as they have good payment history, such as like or say if you closed out an account, don't think about deleting that account or removing it. It helps you, because history is very, very important. And we're going to go into your FICO score and how that's factored, because history is going to be very, very important when it comes down to them accounts. Now, those are all their negative accounts. They also have some positive accounts here too. So you had a Wells Fargo account. They didn't have any late payments on it. So this is what your account is going to look like. As you can see, you still have errors on here. These red things mean there's errors still. But the account is positive. We want to leave it alone. It's helping to build their credit. What they need to do is remove all the bad things. And I always get this bad example. I just think it's a good example at the same time. Just imagine when somebody cheats on you. Okay? If you know about the other person, it's horrible, okay? It's just horrible. But if they cheat on you and you don't know, you really don't have damage there until you know. So when you get a new girlfriend or new boyfriend, or if they get a new boyfriend or girlfriend, if they knew that you once cheated on this person and they still see the person, which is these negative accounts, they're not going to want to be with you. Same thing with the credit card companies. When they can see these negative accounts that you basically messed up with, they're not going to want to give you a credit card. So you kind of want to get it out the way and get that memory out the way. You don't want to have it on your credit reports. Now, with these positive accounts, that's going to start building them back up again, saying, okay, you're doing good. Okay, I see you have good things going on. So these positive accounts, you want to keep them on, but those negative accounts, you need to remove them, okay? It's a bad reputation, basically. You want to remove that bad reputation from your credit reports. And you can see they do have some accounts. And look at this account right here. So they had an actually stored account. It was paid. It was never late. You can see all okay here. But you can see it was closed due to inactivity. So I always tell people every 6 months, go buy something. I don't care if it's $5. Wait till the statement come and pay it all the way off, okay? But you want to use your card, or they can't close it due to inactivity. And they also could drop your limit too. They can lower your limit. if you guys are not using your credit card, they can lower your limit due to inactivity. And they have another one, Lane Bryant, they didn't use or they stopped using it and it was closed due to inactivity. So you guys have to make sure that you guys use these accounts. If you don't use the accounts, you're going to see that a lot of your accounts are going to close, and you don't want your accounts to close. So we went over a lot of things, and the thing is, a lot of people always ask, why do you have so many different accounts? Because every time you apply for a credit card, once it's added to your credit report, it's called a trade line, and it's your personal trade line. It's your account, but all of these different accounts are going to add up. So the longer you have credit, the more accounts you should have on your credit reports. And it's good that you have a lot of accounts like that, because it showed that you was able to manage credit for a long extended period of time. If you guys have a new credit report, you know how much you need to have trade lines or accounts added that's personally yours. So credit cards, get these different accounts added to your credit reports, and you will see that when you only have one or two, you really can't get credit cards. But when you guys start building, you start adding more credit cards on, and now you have a better history, you're going to see that you're able to get more credit cards. But that is an in-depth report of what's on your credit report. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Let's go over to episode 10 so we can talk about these different credit scores and other different factors that's going into your account. I'll see you guys over there. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 10 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about who can actually get a copy of your credit reports. Just because you guys have a credit report, that does not mean anybody can actually get a copy. And we have something called inquiries that we already talked about. And certain companies can actually pull your credit reports, which you will see an inquiry on credit reports, or sometimes they'll do like a soft pull and see your credit reports. Some companies, they really can just go ahead and just look at your credit report. We're going to talk about who can actually do that, because your credit report is very, very valuable in terms of how you're going to live your life, if you're going to be able to get a certain loan or what interest rate you're going to get. So everybody just can't get your credit reports, and this information is very valuable because you may have to sue a company for getting a credit report that they were not supposed to get, especially if they make a bad decision or screw up some things in your life because of this credit report. So first thing is, anytime you guys apply for a credit card, once you guys get approved for that credit card, your potential creditors, plus once they just be a creditor because they gave you a credit card, they can continuously look at your credit reports. Once you guys have an account with them, they can look at your credit report at any time. So understand that. Mortgage lenders, they can look at your credit reports. When you guys apply for a mortgage, they're going to most likely look at all three credit reports, all three credit bureaus. And then also, once you have a mortgage, they're going to most likely look at your credit reports also. Landlords, when you guys try to rent an apartment, you guys will see that landlords are going to want to look at your credit report and see what's on there. A lot of times they just want to see if you had any type of delinquent accounts. Sometimes they don't want to see collections on there either. It's just bad, you guys. If your reputation is bad, if you have collections on your credit reports that you did not pay, they just feel as if you're not going to pay them, and they just want certain people to be tenants for them. Okay, and it's just nothing that's unfair, but they want to be able to see this. That's why you guys have to clean information up. Utility companies, now utility companies are able to look at your credit reports also. And they're going to decide on not if they're going to be able to give you services, but what the deposit is going to be. No matter what's on your credit, if your credit is very, very bad, they cannot deny you utilities. But what they can do is say, hey, we're going to need this amount as a deposit. So keep that in mind. Now, student loan lenders, usually it's parents that's one of the plus loans that they're going to get their credit reports viewed for student loans, but student loan companies can't actually look at your credit. It's usually for the parents, like I said, that wants to do the plus loans. Insurance companies, when you guys want insurance, they definitely look at your credit. And a lot of times your credit is going to be factored into whether or not you're going to be able to get, if you will get insured or not, or what rate they're going to give you, how much you're going to have to charge for it. So insurance company, also car insurance company, that's another thing. Employers, I remember I had a client that was going to be working in Washington, and they said, I need to have a certain credit score. I can't have these accounts on there. And I was like, why? This don't make sense. But now I know it's based off of your risk of bribery. If you guys have a lot of debt, you guys are going to be easily, persuaded, should I say. You could be easily bribed. That's how they look at it. So they just want to make sure that you don't have these negative accounts. And also government agencies, sometimes they think about giving you certain type of assistance, things like that. If you're trying to get a special license, they may have to look at your credit reports. Collection agencies, they want to know where you stay at. So they're going to pull your credit reports. And then they also want to know what's your employer so that they can put a wage garnishment in for you. And that's why I usually tell people, don't put your employer on there. I just didn't see someone just get denied so much because they didn't have an employer on there. If you know that you're having a lot of problems with your credit, but you don't want to file bankruptcy, maybe you just want to pay it off normally, you naturally just pay it off slowly. Please make sure you don't have your employer on there. Or sometimes too, I'm not saying don't have a current address, but they can have these different things and they can start garnishing your check before you even call and settle with them. Okay. So understand that if you guys were to have a judgment, then they can go ahead and request a copy of your credit report. And then entities with court orders, sometimes they need to look at your credit reports. So they will be able to pull your credit reports. But those are the different companies that can pull your credit report. Welcome to episode 11 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to talk about a credit score. What is it? Who uses it? And we're going to also get deeper into FICOs, because FICOs is used for so much. Your FICO score is going to be used for so much, you guys. You guys definitely need to know about it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop your questions down below. Now, the first question is, what is a credit score? So a credit score is just basically a numerical number that's put together, and it's the number that's formed. Remember, I said you can have over 50 different credit scores, but this number it tells a lot about you. This number can be all the way from 300s all the way up to sometimes 990. So again, different bureaus have different numbers, but normally the normal scale is like 300 or 350 to an 850, okay? And that's what a credit score is. Now, who uses your credit score? Usually when you guys want to get a mortgage, they're going to need to know what your credit score is. If you guys trying to get a credit card, if you guys trying to get a car, if you're trying to, do a lot of different things, try to get a loan, they're going to need to know what your credit score is. So these different companies, the car dealerships, they're going to need to know what your credit score is and what's on your credit report. Okay. So how are your credit score calculated? Oh my gosh, you guys, how is it calculated? So let me show you guys this chart. So we actually have this from FICO, and it shows, I just love this example because it shows how your credit score is calculated. So these are the different things that's factored into your credit score. So first of all, 35% of your credit score is made up of your payment history, okay? So that's the first factor. 35% of your credit score is made up of your payment history. That's why I always tell people, when you have different type of accounts, please put them all on auto pay. Please put them on auto pay, because if you guys have these accounts reported late, it's going to really hurt you. And if you guys are trying to get a mortgage, you really want to make sure you don't have any late payments, because usually Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is FHA loans, which a lot of people get, they're going to want to look at a version of your FICO score, and it's different names for the FICO scores, and we're going to get into that shortly. But they're going to look at your FICO score. So I always tell people, put these things on auto pay, because you don't want a late payment, because it's 35% of your score. The amount owed on your accounts, that's going to be 30%. Now, when I think of amount owed, I'm thinking about how much you actually owe on a credit card, okay? And they also can go into accounts that you have too, in terms of your overall debt on the account. But I like to think about your credit cards, how much you owed in terms of your payment history, okay? So that is something that's very, very important. That's why I tell people to keep your balance low. Don't spend more than 5% on your credit card if you cannot afford to pay it right away, okay? And if you guys are able to afford it, do not let them report more than 5% to the credit bureaus. So when your credit card is due on your due date, make sure you pay it all the way down to 5% or 0, whichever one you decide, but do not let them report more than 5%. Also, you need to have a different mix of your credit. So you need to have a great mix of it. So I want you guys to understand that I need you to have like different accounts. You need to have installment accounts. You need to make sure that you guys have credit cards. So have like a car loan, student loans. These different things are helping you. So you need to have like a healthy mix of like revolving accounts and installment accounts, like a mortgage, car loan, credit cards, or just a basic loan. Okay. So that's a great mix of it. Now, your credit history, that's really how long you have had credit, the length of your credit. That's what I told you guys. I don't know if you guys may have remembered it or if you watched that previous episode, but I told you guys, I want you guys to have your accounts and I want them to get old. That's why I said you have all these different accounts. I think there was like 2 episodes back in episode 9 when I told you all that I need these accounts to get old. I don't want you just to delete an account. Say if you had a credit card that was closed, if you didn't have anything negative on there, leave it alone. You want to have it on there. And if you guys have credit cards, make sure you use them every 6 months, because they can be closed due to inactivity. You want these accounts to grow old. You don't want them to be closed too soon, because this history is going to help you guys out a lot. And that's why if you guys have student loans too, I tell you guys, leave them student loans alone. Like, they're helping you out. They're probably the best account that you have. So make sure you guys let your accounts get old, because again, it's 15% of your score. Now, when it comes down to FICO, each bureau will have a different name for it. So Equifax is going to call it the Beacon score. Experian, they're going to call it the Experian FICO risk model. Also, TransUnion is going to call it your FICO risk score, formerly known as Imperia. So each one have a different name for it. Now, new credit, your new credit is going to be on how many new accounts that you have. These are included to like your hard inquiry. So make sure you guys do not have a lot of different accounts. I told you guys, if you guys just watch my channel in general, I told you guys about a lot of credit cards that can pre-qualify you without a hard inquiry. These accounts you should be getting, because you don't want to have a lot of inquiries, because it's going to drop your credit, because these are still new accounts. And sometimes when you guys have too many credit cards, if you apply for another credit card, you're going to see your credit score drop too, because now you have new accounts that you apply for, which is not good, okay? If you want to see a drop, but if you just definitely need that credit card, go ahead and get it. But you're going to see your credit score drop, because you messing up your history. Plus, you have that new hard inquiry. Okay, so you know your credit score is going to drop. Now, also, FICO has a FICO 10T score model. You know, they're going to have more emphasis on missed payments. It's basically, it's going to be more harsher when you guys have missed payments. So please make sure you're paying all of that stuff on time. And you guys may have seen something like the Vantage score. Your Vantage score, usually a lot of companies don't use your Vantage score. They're going to use your FICO. But Vantage score is still something you want to look at. But I always tell people your Vantage score can be 40 points less than what your FICO score is. And you guys will be able to see that Vantage score on Credit Karma. So that's a little bit about your FICO score and how you guys should factor these different things in. But I always tell people as simple as this: make sure you put all your accounts on auto pay. Make sure you pay it on time. Make sure you do not have more than 5% of your credit card reported to the credit bureaus, because that's going to mess with your utilization. Make sure you don't apply for too many new accounts, especially over an extended period of time. Like every month you're trying to get a new credit card, that's going to hurt. You got too many hard inquiries. Your accounts are really getting old too, and your average age of accounts is going to be messed up. If you're going to apply for accounts, just apply for some at one time, let those get old, and then apply for some more credit cards. And when you have your credit cards, make sure you use them every 6 months so that they don't get closed due to inactivity. And those student loans, leave them alone, because they're probably the best account that you have, and it's helping you build your credit. Welcome to Credit 101, episode 12, where we're going to talk about what's a good credit score. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them down below, and make sure you guys are subscribed. So I'm trying to make sure I get my subscribers up. So make sure you guys are subscribe if you love this information that I'm putting out. So the first thing is FICO scores. Again, they can range from 300 to 850. Now, when it comes down to FICO scores, the average score in the United States is about a 700. I know a lot of people, especially in certain demographics, have lower credit scores, and it's just because we were not educated, which is why I'm making this series. I'm going over everything that have to do with this credit, and also repairing your credit. That way, if you ain't got no excuse. It's free on YouTube, okay? So you guys can be able to watch it. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, it's everywhere. So you guys should be able to have this information. But the average score is a 700, and we need to work on getting that up, okay? Now, when it comes down to your credit, an actual excellent score is if you guys were to get your credit score at above a 750 or even in the 800s. If you guys even don't get it above the 800 mark, or if you at 800, that's still an excellent score. That is good. And sometimes people just aim for this score. They say, oh, I just want a 750. I just want to get an 800. And I tell people the accounts that's in your credit reports matter, you guys. So please keep that in mind. Now, the score is needed for credit cards. If you guys want to get a credit card, you guys need to have a certain score. So I tell people they need to have at least a 580 credit score to get like a unsecured card where you don't have to put a deposit down on it. They'll give you a credit card. Maybe it's nothing but like a $300 limit, $500 limit, but that's what you're going to need for just a basic unsecured credit card. If you guys have a credit score under a 580, you probably need to get you a secure credit card to start building your credit up, okay? And with that secure credit card, it can get you over 680. So please just make sure you be patient with those secure credit cards. If your credit score is over a 680, you can get a decent credit card. Okay, when I say decent credit card, you're going to have probably a limit of $5,000 or below. but it can really help you all to build your credit even more. So if you do want to get limits over $10,000, you can get there, but you need to start really building up your credit to get to that status. Now, another thing too, if you want to have very high limit credit cards, make sure you guys have credit cards with high limits. That's what it is. You need to start asking these companies for increases when you have them, especially if they're unsecured. Get increases on your credit cards. Start spending a lot of money on your credit cards and paying it back off. If you can, don't go into debt trying to do this, and pay it back off, and do that multiple times in a month. That can help you all get a higher increase on your credit cards, and also give you a higher limit credit card in the future also. Now, make sure you guys understand that for a mortgage, is not like credit cards, okay? For a mortgage, you technically can have a 500 credit score and get a mortgage. Even with FHA, you do have to put 10% down, but you can get a mortgage with a 500 credit score. Now, usually I tell people to have at least a 580 credit score or push for a 620 credit score, and that will allow you to put 3.5% down. If you guys are trying to get like a VA loan, then you need a 550 credit score. And also, if you're trying to get a conventional loan, you need to have at least a 620, 640 credit score to get a conventional loan. But that's what you need for a mortgage. And you got to understand that your mortgage score is different than what you probably see on Credit Karma. Do not be alarmed. And also, it's going to be different than what you may see on your Experian app, where you see your FICO score. That score may be different. I just had a client recently pull their credit reports, and the score that was on there is totally different than what was actually pulled when she went and got her mortgage. So I always tell people, aim for a very high score, knowing that you may be 40 to 50 points off. It may be lower. So if you look on Credit Karma, they say you at a 680, you probably at a 630, okay? So keep that in mind. Or you may be at a 640, but at least you know that it's lower, so you can push that Credit Karma score up. So when you want to go apply for something, you know that it's probably around this amount, okay? But that's what I want to teach you guys about your credit score. The next one, I want to talk to you guys about this resilience risk. Now, this with Experian, you guys need to know about these different things that's coming out and that they're using. That way you'll know how they're using it against us, so that you can be part where you can use it against them in a way that you'll know what they want, what they need, and you can start using it. Okay, so let's go into episode 13. If you have any questions, drop them down.